dropping by, and in this video tonight I want to help you get to the point where you no longer take things personally. That is the simple aim of today's video. Maybe you're the sort of person who's never taken things personally. Maybe you're the opposite. Maybe you took everything personally. Maybe you took everything to heart. Maybe you're somewhere in between. Who knows? All I can say is that I know I used to have quite a thin skin in years gone by, where I would have taken probably most things as slights against me, insults, digs, negative comments, innuendos, things like that there. And I would have harboured them for a long time. I would have held either a grudge or a bitterness or prejudice towards the person who damaged my ego or chinked the armour that is my perception of self. Anyway, none of that's important now. The point is, if I'm able to get to the point where I no longer take things personally, then it's possible for anyone to get to that point. And I've got a few key points, key principles in mind, which I'll share with you right now. So the first step, in my experience and from my own study, in getting to the point where you no longer take things personally, is to realize that, well, simply, you can't please everybody. It's impossible to please everyone. You are definitely going to piss someone off. You're going to irritate someone. You're going to have and wrath bestowed upon you in bucket loads throughout your life. Of course you will. It's just the nature of reality. We can't control what is thrown upon us necessarily, but we can control how we react to it. And in this case, it's so simple in theory, not just as simple to execute in reality, but still very doable for everybody. Just realize that not everybody will like you, and that you can't please everybody. And once you accept that truth, you basically lift a burden off your shoulders. Simple as that. Another key thing to bear in mind is that whenever somebody is criticizing you or attacking you or making fun of you in whatever way, it's really worth constantly remembering that it's less about you and more about them. They're not attacking you personally per se. They're not focused on your inaccuracy or inadequacy or whatever. It is more than often actually their own inadequacy or personal imperfection or flaws or whatever way you want to look at it. And they're simply projecting this onto you as if to offload it from themselves. They're basically trying to distract themselves from their own shortcomings and inadequacies by offloading them onto you. There's nothing more to it. And whenever you're aware of that, if you couple that with a degree of empathy, then you won't feel resentment or bitterness towards this person. If anything, you'll feel a bit of sadness, a bit of sympathy, if anything. So another little thing to keep in mind is simply that. Just realize that it is not you that they're attacking specifically, but it is rather their own inadequacy or shortcomings. The third thing to keep in mind when trying not to take things personally, or not trying, simply when not taking things personally, is to realize that it's all a matter of perspective, really. You can choose to view it as a personal attack against you, and then you react to that with vigor and vengeance and thunder and fury, whatever way you want to look at it. Or you can look at it as a chance to grow, as a chance to improve, basically as advice, feedback, critique, rather than criticism. My granny actually always used to say, if you take all insults as compliments, you'll be doing okay. And you know what? Granny was right. Granny was right about a lot of things in hindsight, but wrong in a lot of things too, of course. But no, in this case, she was very much correct. If you choose to take insults as compliments, you'll be flying. You'll totally change things around. The glass will go from half empty to half full. Roses will appear everywhere. Anyway, so that's the fourth principle to keep in mind when not taking things personally. The final piece of the puzzle from my own experience and study in not taking things personally is, and this is probably the biggest one, arguably the most important one, but stuff which you can actually do right now, exercise you can do right now, and that is to do inner work. And inner work is, well, it's a lot of stuff you can do. It can be meditation, it can be breath work, it can be exercising, it can be affirmations, anything which basically involves you improving the way that you see yourself, improving your mental stamina, your mental toughness, your physical toughness, your self-confidence, things like that there. But at the same time, not only do you want to improve how you perceive yourself, but you also want to become aware of the ego that is, for a lot of people, actually running the show. The ego is a little voice inside your head which, well, for example, say you ask someone out and they say no, you'll be thinking in your head, how dare they turn me down, I'm too good for them, it's their loss, blah 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 blah. That is an example of the ego. But conversely, the ego is also the same voice that tells you not to ask them out, because the ego is basically a self-preservation mechanism. If you see someone really hot, you want to ask them to go to, I don't know, the local, well, where's not closed now? Well, I suppose most places are open now since the pandemic has sort of waned. Anyway, if you see someone you want to ask them out, your ego will be the voice in your head saying, no, don't do it. What do they say no? But what do they say? What do they say yes? Anyway, whenever you become aware of the little voice inside your head, you can realize that you're not ruled by it and that you can actually rise above it. Again, that takes more practice. Practice would involve going out of the comfort zone. But in essence, the main inner works that you can do to help you rise above what you perceive to be as personal attacks, to basically become impervious to taking insults, is meditation. Calm the mind, calm the thoughts, calm your emotions, become aware of your emotions and realize that you're not your emotions, but you're just temporarily experiencing said emotions. Personally, I think that's the single best way to do it. When you meditate and then you couple that with breath work. Breath work can be done separately, it can be done at the same time as meditation, whatever way you want to do it. Figure out your own way. There's no right or wrong way to do it. But whenever you start improving yourself in these dimensions, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, they are complete and utter game changers, and there's a shift which takes place, and you go from a place of sensitive, hyperactive reaction to presence, total and utter calm, presence, tranquility, evolution, whatever way you want to look at it. Anyway, that's enough rambling from me tonight. I hope you gained some degree of value from this video, and as always, thanks again for watching, and all the best.